Hi guys, it's Michelle, Deception Bytes, and I am back again. Didn't think I would be back this soon, but the last video that I recorded had a black screen, and I guess it's not very pleasant just watching a black screen and a little white cursor, and I don't blame you. So I thought I would re-record this tonight and get it uploaded. I did take Sunday off and Monday. Now Q posted Monday and has posted today. Interesting to me that he didn't post on April Fool's Day, which was April 1st, which was Easter. And I think that that was very wise on his part, because I think that if he had of, people would have said, see, I told you it was a LARP. He posted on April Fool's Day. You're all just fools, you know, believing in this and blah, blah, blah. But what he did post really confirms to me that Q is real. I mean, I didn't have any doubt about it, and I haven't, because I've been following it since pretty much the beginning. And I think that there's been more than enough proof for any reasonable person. And I do stress the word reasonable. So let's get started here. And I feel like deja vu, because I've been here before and I've done this before, but here we go. Now, this is on April 2nd, which was Monday, and it's a security test. And I don't think we really have to be concerned about this. Q was obviously running security on the board to make sure that everything was okay and copacetic, and obviously it was, because he continues with the drop. So this isn't aimed towards us, so I don't think that there's any need to try and dissect it. Now, the next post, again, was on April 2nd, Monday, and I'm going to link to a visual here that Q embedded, but it wasn't showing very plainly, so I just linked to the actual visual here. And an Anon posted and asked Q, "How was your Easter, Q?" And Q responded and said, "We had a good laugh, Q." Well, let's go take a look at what Q was laughing at. And it happens to be this. And I apologize, because I know that this is blurry, but that's just the way it is. That's the way it was uploaded, so there's not anything I can do about that. I have no intention of reading all these to you. It's out there, you know, everything to do with Roseanne, and of course they're making fun of her now because she believes in Q, and they think it's a big conspiracy theory. So, I mean, everywhere you look, it's Roseanne stories. Roseanne keeps promoting QAnon, the pro-Trump conspiracy theory that makes Pizzagate look tame. Roseanne Barr touts conspiracy theory, praises Trump for rescuing sex trafficking victims. Roseanne Barr faces backlash over Trump conspiracy theory tweet. Roseanne tweets support of Trump conspiracy theory, confuses Twitter. Let us break down the bizarre right-wing conspiracy theory Roseanne Barr has tweeted about. And it just goes on and on. Roseanne, Trump has freed hundreds of children a month from sex trafficking rings, which he has. He has. He's freed more than any other president before him. So, yeah. Roseanne Barr tweets conspiracy theory that says Democrats are leading satanic pedophilia ring. Well, they are. The conspiracy theory behind a curious Roseanne Barr tweet explained. So, yeah, and this is out there. There's no need for me to read all this stuff because it's out there. I think everybody's seen it. You know, I don't really think that you can see the news without seeing all this about Roseanne. And I think that she's very brave to stand up to this, because knowing that she would be ridiculed. But Roseanne Barr is a victim of MKUltra herself, and she has stood up on behalf of other victims. So I think that she is a very brave person, and she has a lot of courage. Now, I don't agree with everything that Roseanne Barr thinks or says, but I really admire her courage. And, you know, there's some things in the Roseanne show, this new show. I haven't watched it, but I've seen clips, and there's some things that I disagree with, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. I do still think that it's extremely courageous of her to stand up and take a stand. So this is what Q said that they were laughing at over the weekend. or over Easter, I guess, is all these news stories, because they're funny, because of course we know that they're true. Excuse me. But mainstream media is going to do what the mainstream media always does, right? They label anything conspiracy just to make us all look like nuts. Well, we'll have our day. We'll have our day. Okay. Now, the next one is this Anon posts this picture, and I must apologize to you guys that put out about the airplane, when Trump posted the 2/12/09, and I said it had to do with Hillary Rodham Clinton. I was so far off. I mean, I was really off. I was like badly off. And you guys about the plane crash, you guys that were, making the comments about the plane crash were absolutely correct. And when I saw your comments, I had a feeling that that's, that had hit the nail on the head. But obviously here, Q has come and he has confirmed that for us. So this Anon posted this meme. And it says, "Hi, I'm Beverly Eckert. My husband was killed during the 9/11 attacks. I rejected $1.8 million from the government and filed a lawsuit against them instead. I was a loudmouth and a well-known figure in the 9/11 truth movement. Coincidentally, days after meeting President Obama, I died in a plane crash." So this Anon underneath that meme has written, "Hey Q, Hillary Rodham Clinton, 2/12/09, very bad. This right?" So he's asking Q, he or she is asking Q, okay, am I right about this? Was it about the plane crash? Well, Q responds, and interestingly enough, Q says to this person, "The timestamp is key." Q. Well, what does he mean by that? I'm going to bring this Q up here. There we go. Okay, well, let's go down and take a look. And let's make this bigger so that you guys on your little phones can see it. All right. Now, this is the original Q post, and it was posted 3/28/18. And it was posted at 22:17:17, which is military time, and that time converts to 10:17:17, 10 p.m., 10:17 p.m., 17 seconds, okay? So there is the original post. Now, if you look at down here when that plane crashed, coincidentally enough, of course we know that this is no coincidence, it happened at 10:17 p.m., same time that Q posted this. And Hillary Rodham Clinton, 2/12/09, well, the crash happened February 12th, 2009. Now, here's something interesting. What happened to it? I mean, as if we didn't know. But, let's pretend we don't know. Colgan Air Flight 3407, marketed as Continental Connection under a code share agreement with Continental Airlines, was a scheduled passenger flight from Newark, New Jersey to Buffalo, New York, which crashed on February 12, 2009. The aircraft, a Bombardier -8 C400, entered an aerodynamic stall. An aerodynamic stall from which it did not recover, and crashed into a house in Clarence Center, New York at 10:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, killing all 49 passengers and crew on board, as well as one person inside the house. So, an aerodynamic stall. In other words, the engines just quit. Gee, I wonder what would cause that to happen. Gee, I don't know. Doesn't that sound familiar, though? Causing planes to just stall and fall out of the air. Interesting. Car crashes. And these, I don't even know what to call whoever's responsible for this. And obviously, Q is telling us it's ultimately Hillary Rodham Clinton. They kill 49 passengers and one person inside the house. So they kill 50 people to get to one. 50 people died. And 50 innocent people, because they were all innocent. She was innocent as well. She was, her husband died in 9/11. She wasn't doing anything wrong. She wanted justice for her husband. That's it. 50 people they were willing to take out. Just like that. So, what's Q telling us? Well, hang on here. Let's go back up. Make this a little bit smaller. He's saying the timestamp is key, so we've already verified that. But the original one said Hillary Rodham Clinton, 2/12/09, very bad. So don't you think that right there in his original post, to which this anon is alluding to right here, don't you think that if he wrote Hillary Rodham Clinton in regards to that she's the one responsible? And he's saying very bad. This is very bad. What do you think is going to happen when that comes out in the open? How do you think people are going to react to that? I know how I react to that. And I'm a very gentle person. I really am. It takes a lot to get me upset. But literally, I want to hurt her. And, I'm not wishing any harm to any of these people that are responsible for this. I'm not. I want justice for them. And I want it to be decided in a court of law. And I want justice to be served. It's not, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Let's continue on. It gets me down. It really does get me down when I see the level of corruption that's out there, because I knew it was bad. Because of my own experiences, I knew it was bad. I've seen things. But I didn't know it was this bad. I didn't know, let me rephrase that. I did know it was that bad. I didn't know it was that pervasive. I knew it was bad. I had no idea it was this pervasive. So let's go on to the next one. So the next is a post by Q, and he gives us a link, which means that he wants us to go out and look at it, obviously. So we're going to do that. Just because we can. All right. Turley. Sessions appointing Utah federal prosecutor much better for Trump than second special counsel. Until I had read this, I really didn't realize how much of a win-win situation this is. Washington, D.C., Professor Jonathan Turley, a top national legal expert on government investigations, commented on Thursday about Attorney General Jeff Sessions' decision to bring in U.S. Attorney John Huber. Turley called it brilliant to combine all the powers of the U.S. Department of Justice Inspector General with a prosecutor who can bring charges, seek indictments, and get results for President Trump far more quickly than a second special counsel. Turley is a law professor at George Washington University who attained national fame during the 1998 impeachment of President Bill Clinton as a top legal authority on special counsels and congressional investigations of government wrongdoing, including criminal wrongdoing. His reputation has only grown during the intervening 20 years as he has weighed in on scandals and investigations of public officials from both political parties. Sessions sent a letter to House Judiciary Committee Chairman Bob Goodlatte. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. It could be Goodlot. But if someone knows, if they could let me know, I would really appreciate it. House Oversight Committee Chairman Trey Gowdy and Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, informing them that Huber is conducting a full-fledged criminal investigation into all matters. Republicans are calling for a special counsel to investigate. Huber has been investigating these possible crimes for 5 months, since November 13th, 2017. During an interview on Lou Dobbs' Fox Business Network show, Turley explained to guest host Stuart Varney that the media are wrongly reporting that Sessions will not appoint a second special counsel. He did not foreclose the possibility of a special counsel, he insisted. Instead, Turley explained that Sessions has ordered Huber to team up with the Inspector General within the Justice Department to investigate these matters. Sessions informed Congress in his letter that all the matters recommended for investigation by Goodlatte, Gowdy, and Grassley are fully within the scope of Huber's existing mandate. He also informed the chairman that Inspector General Michael Horowitz, who is working with Huber, has a staff of 470 investigators, giving Huber access to enormous investigative firepower that far exceeds the staff of any special counsel. That point is critical because, as Sessions' March 29th letter explains, the Inspector General's jurisdiction to conduct civil and criminal investigations includes actions taken by former employees after they have left government service. Then Huber can act on any of those matters. As a U.S. attorney, Huber has full authority to impanel a grand jury and to file criminal charges. A grand jury can be impaneled anywhere, which means that it could be a group of citizens from deep red Utah in the heart of Trump country, instead of the D.C. swamp that decides whether to hand down indictments for felony prosecutions. The Inspector General's jurisdiction extends not only to allegations of legal violations, but also to allegations that department employees violated established practices as well. Sessions added in his letter, which means that the IG's report can hold people accountable even for actions that do not violate a specific statute. I think Sessions did the right thing here, said Turley. I think the president should listen to General Sessions on this one. Sessions can always appoint a special counsel, Turley explained, but that should not even be necessary because Huber has the ability to prosecute cases. Do these prosecutors have the same power to investigate and get to the bottom of things that a special counsel would have? Varney asked. Actually, yes, Turley answered. I think people are missing what could be a brilliant move here by Sessions. What he did is essentially combine the powers of the Inspector General with the powers of a line prosecutor. This prosecutor does not have just the experience and training to look for a criminal case. He has the ability to move a case of that kind in court, Turley emphasized. Not only that, but if Sessions believes crimes were committed, but Huber for some reason does not bring charges, Sessions has reserved the right to go ahead and appoint a special counsel, said Turley. That's a powerful combination, he observed. When Varney asked if Huber and Horowitz's status as Obama holdovers creates a possible problem for Sessions and President Trump, Turley said no, observing that each man has a great reputation as a dogged investigator. Breitbart News has separately confirmed that Utah Senator Orrin Hatch and Mike Lee, both of whom are Republicans who support aggressive investigations of these scandals, enthusiastically supported Huber to be reappointed by President Trump as his U.S. attorney in Utah. The Senate confirmed Huber in 2017 for a second term. Huber is a Utah lawyer, not a D.C. lawyer. That distance between him and Washington is very important, Turley explained, because Huber is not part of the deep state. That is not cozy buddies with the cocktail party scene that is suspected of perpetrating all of these actions against President Trump and his administration. Turley said President Trump should be very happy that Sessions chose this route of appointing Huber, who has the power to seek indictments and prosecute cases, and teamed him up with Horowitz, who has 470 investigators at his disposal if the president wants to see swift and decisive action. And of course, we know that he does, right? So this is a win-win situation. If a special counsel were appointed, that would be a great deal of delay, Turley stated, versus the team of Huber and Horowitz, who are already 5 months into the investigation. So I did feel it necessary to read that entire thing because it's important, and it's important to what Q is discussing. So let's go back and see what Q is discussing. Now, why was this made public? Well, I think it's made public for two reasons. Looking at this logically and trying to think about this, I would say it was made public to show the deep state that they're really in a lot of caca. And number two, it shows us, those of us that are supporting this and behind it and the Patriot community, the Truth community, and so forth that are following all this, it gives us a sense of knowing that something is being done. So I think it is important to make it public for two reasons, because it's a very strong signal to all groups involved. John Huber, appointed by, well, he was appointed by Obama in February 2015. Removed by, well, he was removed by Trump in March 2017, but that's not unusual at all for an administration to, to do that, to clean house when the next administration comes in. So that's not anything strange or untoward. Attorney General Jeff Sessions subsequently appointed Huber as interim U.S. Attorney under the Federal Vacancies Reform Act. And then he was reappointed by, he was reappointed or reaffirmed by Trump June 2017. Huber was appointed by U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions to investigate the FBI's surveillance of Carter Page and connections between the Clinton Foundation and Uranium One starting in November 2017. Why the reboot? Think logically. History books. Q. Why the reboot? Well, I think he was removed. He's not part of the deep state. We've already been told that by Q. He was removed by Trump, possibly because he was part of Obama's team, and either Trump knew that he was on his side, or he may have not been aware of that he was on his side, but I would doubt that. I think that Trump probably did that for appearances, because then Attorney General Jeff Sessions came in behind him and appointed Huber as interim U.S. Attorney under the Federal Vacancies Reform Act. So by removing him, that paved the way for Attorney General Jeff Sessions to bring him back. And that wouldn't be on Trump. So you see what I'm saying? And then he was reappointed by Trump in June 2017. But see, the fact that Trump got rid of him and then Sessions brought him back, if he subsequently, Huber finds, people guilty, then it's pretty hard to say, oh yeah, but he's biased. He's biased. Pretty hard to say that. So that's why I think the reboot. Personally. The other thing that I think about is the fact that Obama did not vet these people thoroughly when he appointed them and put them in office. We know that. That's been in other drops. So if he was not vetted properly, he may have been removed until he was vetted properly. I don't know. I'm just throwing some stuff out there, seeing what sticks. If you guys have any ideas, I'm always willing and happy to see them and read them and consider them. Because I know it's going to come to you as a shock, but I don't have all the answers. I know it's really hard to believe, isn't it? But no, I don't. Okay, let's go on. Okay. And this is a Q post, and he is referring to his own post again, and he is saying, what is Sessions specifically recused from? Well, he's specifically recused from disclosure of information concerning ongoing criminal, civil, or administrative investigations. Then Q says, watch the EOs, the executive orders. Q. Now, watch the EOs. Either there's going to be something coming up, or maybe there's already been something that we need to pay attention to. I haven't got into that deeply yet. But here, Q is referring to his own post, but I want to add some clarity here. So this is the Trump this is the post that he was referring to, and then this is not from Q. I grabbed this from somebody's Twitter account. I thought it was very interesting. I have no idea what all these frogs mean. Does somebody know what that is? What that means? I see them everywhere, and Okay, paint me stupid, but I don't know what they mean. So anyway, frogs aside, let's take a look at this. So here's Q's post from 4/2/18. It's actually a snapshot image of it. John Huber, appointed by, removed by, reappointed by, why the reboot? Think logically. History books, Q. Now, John Huber was born 1967. He's an American lawyer who has served as the United States Attorney for District of Utah since June 2015. He was first nominated for the position by President Barack Obama in February 2015. Huber offered his resignation in March 2017 at the request of the Trump administration. However, the United States Attorney General Jeff Sessions subsequently appointed Huber as an interim U.S. attorney under the Federal Vacancies Reform Act. Huber was renominated by President Donald Trump in June 2017. On August 3rd, 2017, he was unanimously confirmed by the United States Senate to an additional 4-year term as a U.S. attorney. So, on March 10th, Jeff Sessions, who was appointed United States Attorney General by President Donald Trump, requested the resignation of 46 United States attorneys. Some resignations were declined by Sessions or Trump. Media outlets described Sessions' move as abrupt and unexpected, but not unprecedented. It is typical that when a new president enters office, that many sitting U.S. attorneys depart on their own initiative before the term in office has concluded, or they are asked to resign. The other 47 U.S. attorney posts were either already vacant by the end of Obama's administration, or the incumbent U.S. attorney had resigned at the beginning of Trump's administration. So, I know, it's a lot, but stay with me. The Federal Vacancies Reform Act of 1998, the act allows the Senate to confirm or reject people whom the president never officially nominated. The act allows the Senate to treat a president's written notice of intent to nominate as a nomination, despite the fact that the president has yet to and may never nominate the named individual to an advice and consent position. Such treatment of a president's written notice of intent to nominate violates both the formalist and functionalist Supreme Court decisions on federal appointment issues. So this is a special act to allow that. And hang on, we're going to tie it all together. What is Sessions specifically recused from? Well, therefore, I have recused myself in the matters that deal with the Trump campaign. The exact language of that recusal is in the press release that we will give to you. I've said this quote, I have now decided to recuse myself from any existing or future investigations of any matter relating in any way to the campaigns for President of the United States. Now, interesting, okay. But listen to this. The DOJ generally will not confirm the existence or otherwise comment about ongoing investigations, except as provided in subparagraph C of this section. DOJ personnel shall not respond to questions about the existence of an ongoing investigation or comment on its nature or progress before charges are publicly filed. So that's interesting because he just has commented on it, right? He says, I've decided to recuse myself from any existing or future investigations of any matter relating in any way to the campaign for President of the United States. Well, what does that mean? It either means that there's no ongoing investigation, it's been dropped, which I would assume is the case, or that charges have been publicly filed. But charges against whom? So since he has commented on it, and he's not supposed to, he's forbidden to, then obviously there is no ongoing investigation. No ongoing investigation into matters with the Trump campaign. But there is with the uranium one and other things. So, and also the whole thing about there was collusion, all right, but not with Trump. It was a collusion to be against Trump and to frame him. So have charges been filed in that? I don't know. We won't find this out in the news, but rest assured, every applicable criminal under our EOs will be brought to the court of law. And this was an anon that put this together. It was on someone's Twitter page, and I thought that it was particularly well done. So let's go on. Hang on here. All right. So I like this part right here. This is the next one, April 2nd, which was Monday. He says April, A. Then he puts another A down here, A. Now to me, when I read this, okay, it's like, I'm sure everybody's watched Sesame Street at some point, or maybe I'm dating myself, I don't know. Which doesn't sound very much fun, to tell you the truth, to date yourself. But anyway, Sesame Street, was a big thing. So anyway, this Q post is brought to you by the letter A. Except for here, it's April, brought to you by the letter A, because that's exactly what we have here. And this is a list of everything that's going to happen in April, brought to you by the letter A. The IG report, Inspector General. Sessions public attack. So he's going to be publicly attacked. Rod Rosenstein problems. Seals broken. I would assume that's the sealed indictments. They're going to be broken, which means they're going to be made available, public. Arrests. Ooh, I like that A word. There's going to be arrests. Then he says, why was Huber made public? And we just went over that. Why now? Because we're right on the cusp of this thing. We're right on the precipice. We're about to jump off the cliff. Now's the time. Everything has meaning. Here's another A word that I like. AWON. So that's something else that's coming in April. Maybe something to do with that. Arrests, whatever. Tarmac. Now, that's interesting because we know that a video exists of the tarmac meeting. So is that the video that's going to come out with Hillary Rodham Clinton? Because whatever it is, it's going to be jaw-dropping. It's going to absolutely alarm people. Iran, North Korea, Uranium One, FBI, DOJ, Mueller, all things that are going to happen in April. Election integrity, that's going to come out in the news. All this stuff's going to be coming out or something. This stuff's going to happen this month. Immigration bill, border, wall, military start, big month, Q. April, brought to you by the letter A. Well, speaking of border and immigration, let's take a boo at this. I think this will make you happy. Sure made me happy. Trump, we will guard our border with our military. I am so happy to hear that because I know that you are as sick as I am of all these people traipsing across the border. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against immigration. I am an immigrant. I'm a legal immigrant. And I I went through all the checks and balances, 10 years of tax returns. I had to go through a criminal check in both countries. I had to be fingerprinted. I had to go to a immigration doctor to prove that I had no communicable diseases or and that I was of sound mind mentally. I had to, all this stuff I had to go through. It cost me a lot of money. But I didn't mind. I mean, I did mind, but I didn't. I understood fully why it was required. And, obviously, they do that to keep Americans safe because you need to know who's in your country, right? You don't want somebody that's coming and going to be a burden, or somebody that's mentally ill that could do harm, somebody that's could spread disease. I mean, really. You have to know that they can support themselves, that they're going to pay taxes, all that. So I don't have a problem with that. But that's my problem with the illegal immigration, because I did it legally, and there are ways to do it legally. So, it's just that when you do it legally, you tend to get better educated people and so forth because of that vetting process. And it's just not that, we need uneducated people as well. I mean, we need them to, they do fill a lot of jobs that Americans are unwilling to fill. But anyway, I won't get into all that, but it's just not a good situation that we have right now, because a lot of these people are coming in and they're costing us a lot of money, taxpayer money. It's the same thing that's happening in Canada right now. It's alarming to me because you've got the seniors that are having to choose in the wintertime between heating their homes and eating, because the cost in Ontario, it's the highest taxed province in Canada, and it just keeps going up and up and up. And, seniors can't pay. They're losing their homes and everything else, and yet we're bringing in like 1 million. There's going to be like 1 million refugees brought into Canada, and we'll support them. We support them. Like, they get free health care, they get everything. And yet the people that have paid into the system their whole life, they're now elderly, and they get tossed to the side, like a wounded dog. And really, they get substandard care in Canada. If you are older, you get substandard care. That's just the bottom line. In Ontario, anyway, and I have seen it with my own eyes. They just, I saw it with my grandmother. Oh, she's, she needed dialysis, and they didn't want to do it because it cost too much. Didn't matter that she paid into the system her whole life. They said, oh, well, she's had a good life. And my stepfather, my mother remarried after my father died, and his wife had cancer. She was dying of cancer, and she needed dialysis, and they told her, no, you're going to die anyway. And she said, but if you don't give me dialysis, I'll die. And they said, yep, that's right. And she did. And he could not do anything except stand by and watch her die. And that's the way it is here. So it's just unbelievable to me that they're inviting 1 million more people into Canada. And 1 million people in Canada is a lot because we don't have a big population. So, and who's going to pay for all these people? Well, we are, just like you guys are paying all for all, the people there that are being supported on food stamps and this and that. So anyway. Oh, I want to come back to the States so bad. Anyway, let's get on with this. I don't think I'm going to read this. We just know that Trump is going to defend our border, which is wonderful to know. I didn't mean to talk your leg off with that right there, but sorry. All right, let's go back. Okay. Moving on. Okay. The next one, oh no, that's just this is just part, it was split between 2 pages, which somebody told me that I can do something to view this in, and get rid of that view as web page or something. I don't know. I'll work on that because it's annoying. Okay, here's the next one. And Q writes, and this is April 2nd, and he refers to his own post that he just posted. the one below here. And he says, Facebook, Amazon, Twitter, Google, big problems, Q. So he's adding to the list here because he's referring to the one where he's talking about all these things happening in April, and it's almost like an afterthought, like he's saying, oh yeah, Facebook, Google, Amazon, Twitter, big problems, Q. Well, they are having big problems, and we're going to take a look. Just because we can. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I find this guy like creepy looking. Is it just me? I don't know. It could be just me, but I don't know. Anyway, I know that Jeff Bezos. Trump is after Amazon, Congress is after Facebook, and Apple and Google have their problems too. Should the world's top tech firms be worried? Yes, I think that they should. Trump is going after Amazon, Congress is after Facebook, Google is too big, and Apple is short of new products. Is this any surprise that sentiment toward the tech industry giants is turning sour? The consequences of such readjustment, however, may be dire. The past 2 weeks have been difficult for the tech sector by every measure. Tech stocks have largely driven the year's stock market decline, the largest quarterly drop since 2015. Facebook saw more than $50 billion shaved off its value after the Observer revealed that Cambridge Analytica had harvested millions of people's user data for political profiling. Now users are deleting accounts, and regulators may seek to limit how the company monetizes data, threatening Facebook's business model. On Monday, the Federal Trade Commission confirmed it was investigating the company's data practices. Additionally, Facebook said it would send a top executive to London to appear in front of UK lawmakers, but it would not send the chief executive, Mark Zuckerberg, who is increasingly seen as isolated and aloof. And has he not always been isolated and aloof? Yes, the man is not socially adept. I don't know. Anyway, shares of Facebook had declined more than 17% from the close on Friday, 16th of March, to the close on Thursday before the Easter weekend. Interesting that Zuckerberg sold all his shares. He knew this was coming. Insider trading. Shares of Apple and Google's parent company, Alphabet, are also down, dropping on concerns that tech firms now face tighter regulation across the board, and so they should. For Apple, there's an additional concern that following poor sales of its $1,000 iPhone X, for Google, there's the prospect not only of tighter regulation on how it sells user data to advertisers, but also the fear of losing an important Android software patent case with the Oracle. I don't think that should be the Oracle, it should be Oracle. Big tech's critics may be forgiven a moment of Schadenfreude, whatever that is, I don't know what that is. But for shareholders and pension plans, the tarnishing of tech could have serious consequences. And I'm not going to go through all this because unless you've got stock, you're really not going to care, except that we know that there's things going on that's affecting that. And it's good because these people need to be brought to account, as far as I'm concerned. Now, let's go back. So he was just referring to this post up here, which we've already looked at, so I'm going to skip past that. And I'm going to show you, okay, this Anon posted on April 2nd and made reference to the Q post and said, I still follow your lead on all of this, relying more on the inquiry of those digging here, but March wasn't nearly as mad as you sold us. Please don't build us up to break us down, Q. Now, I don't think that Q, built us up on March Madness. He mentioned it once. So, anyway, I disagree on that, but I know what he's saying. But Q responds. And Q says, North Korea. Q. That's it. That was his response. North Korea. Well, let's take a look at some things that are happening out there. And let's make this bigger. These all happened in March. South Africa loses appeal over Sudan President al-Bashir's arrest warrant. And down here, this is a post from Q on 3/10/18. Glimpse, you cannot possibly imagine the size of this. Trust the plan. Trust there are more good than bad. The world is helping. We are not alone. We are all connected in this fight. We are winning big. So, just proof that this is going on the world over. South Korea's ex-president Lee Myung-bak arrested on graft charges, and that include, hang on, sorry. What did I do there? Well, dang it. I went down a long way. A long way. Wow. Okay, hang on. We're getting there. Okay. So, he is Bach's arrest earlier in the day on the grounds that the 76-year-old former conservative leader could destroy evidence against him, but he is, where was I seeing what he was, 12 charges including bribery, embezzlement, tax evasion, abuse of power, and breach of trust. You know, just small things like that. If convicted of all charges, he faces up to 45 years in prison. So, there you go. And down here, 3/15, same date as this article, March Madness, public will know soon, Q. And over here, we've got Sarkozy indicted for corruption as Clinton cabal crumbles. That was on March 25th. And down here, we've got 3/17 and 3/15, March 17 and March 15th. Next week, boom, 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 and then next week this happened. And boom, 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 Q. So, just a little encouragement that things are happening out there. I know that the haters gonna hate and say, oh, Q, is someone making that up? You people are so gullible. Whatever. So, now, this is interesting. Okay. Back on January 29th, an Anon posted on the board and said, maybe Q can work the phrase tip top into the State of the Union as a shout out to the board. So, interestingly enough, Q did that. So, hang on now. And then the Anon made reference to this tip-top, tippy-top shape. And it would seem the little white rabbit left us an Easter egg to find. Listen to the president's remark on YouTube. Now, that's what we're going to do. So the phrase was requested on the board by an Anon, and then Trump uses it in his State of the Union address. Do you think that's coincidence? I mean, you really think this is a LARP? You think Trump's in on it? He'd have to be. I mean, if this is fake, Trump has to be in on it, or this wouldn't work. So let's go take a look. I'm going to take you out to someone's Facebook page that obviously recorded it. And here we go. Whoops. Well, dang. Hang on. There we go. Now, let me get the sound on this.
It was fantastic. Thank you very much. Well, welcome to the 2018 White House Easter egg roll. So many people, you know, are supposed to be pouring the weather. It was supposed to be very rainy and nasty and cold and windy. And look what we have. Perfect weather. Perfect weather, beautiful weather. Thank you all for being here, folks. Thank you all. I want to really thank the First Lady, Melania, who has done an incredible job. She worked so hard on this event, and so I want to thank you. Also, I want to thank the White House Historical Association and all of the people that worked so hard with Melania, with everybody to keep this incredible house or building or whatever you want to call it, because there really is no name for it. It is special. And we keep it in tip-top shape. We call it sometimes tippy-top shape. And it's a great, great place. It's an honor to have everybody on behalf of the Trump family, many of whom are with us right here in the audience.
So, you heard that. He said tip-top shape. In fact, we like to call it tippy-top shape. And let me show you one more thing here. If I can find it now. Now where did it go? Hang on. Dang it. Okay. I gotta point something out to you here. You probably already have seen it because you're pretty sharp.
Fantastic, thank you very much.
And it's near the end,
the White
so.
House Historical Association house or building, and we keep it in tip-top shape. We call it sometimes tippy-top shape.
Okay. See the rabbit? You can go out and Google or DuckDuckGo Easter rabbit at White House and see the Easter rabbits from the years before. Never has there ever been an Easter bunny at the White House with glasses. So what's that about? Is it just a coincidence? And it's a male, and the Easter bunny in the past at the White House has always been female. You can check it out, because I did. Because I thought, I don't think I've ever seen an Easter bunny look quite like that. So what's the deal? The Easter bunny's wearing glasses, and it looks male to me. That Easter bunny looks male to me. So, anyway, let's go back. Take a little boo here. Well, maybe it wasn't that it was about the Easter bunny at all. Maybe it was about the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. Do you suppose that could be? I not only suppose it, I'm quite convinced of it. They don't do stuff like that for no reason. Especially, okay, they've had rabbits at the Easter bunny at the White House for how many years? Why wouldn't they just use the same one? Why use a completely different one that has glasses? Ever seen the Easter bunny with glasses? I haven't. So I think that was a little Easter egg for us. I think he was doing a little shout out with his tippy top, which is such an odd thing to say. And obviously he said that to draw attention to it, because it's just an odd thing to say. So, and there you have it. That Anon said maybe Q can work the phrase tip top into the State of the Union as a shout out to the board. There's no mistaking that. Now you can say that, Q is not who he says he is, and Q has no connection to the White House, all you want. It's ridiculous, because this stuff has been proved over and over and over and over again. Alrighty, let's go up to the next one, just because we can. Alrighty, Q, April 3rd, which is today, and yes, it's still today, I think. Yep. 11:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're on medication. If you're not on medication, it's still 11:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anyway, WWG1WGA. What the heck does that stand for? Well, where we go one, we go all. Drops will go fast. So what he's saying is drops are going to come quicker and become more intense. That's how I read this, because the faster they go, probably the more intense they're going to go, because if nothing's happening, obviously you wouldn't need to make all those drops, right? So I would say that it's going to become quicker and more intense. White House clean, signal, or sig. Now, I think this could mean two things. Notice how that just below he said about the tippy top. And, well, we keep this place in top shape, tip-top shape. Well, what does that mean? Obviously, it means it's clean. So maybe this means the White House is clean and it's a marker. He was going to mark that as a signal to the board. So saying the White House is clean, it's in tip-top condition, it's clean, is a signal to the board and a marker. I don't know. And then he says everything is planned. So to me, that's what he means. But he also might mean the White House is clean of bugs, leaks, and so forth. He could mean that as well. But it seems odd that he just said that whole tippy top thing and as a shout out to the board, and it's a signal to the board, right? It's a signal to the patriots, it's a signal to the truth community, those that are following this. So White House clean signal. Well, the White House is in tip-top shape. It's clean. It's a marker. Everything's planned. So I don't know. Either way works. So, and then he says everything is planned years. And I think what he's saying here is everything was planned out years in advance. Years in advance. The message is unity. The message is awakening. We fight. And then he says Lexington, Concord, stay together, Q, because we know that they are trying to split up the truth community and so forth, the patriots, because they, they're using all sorts of stuff, and I won't mention any names, although I know you know who I'm talking about. So, let's look at Lexington and Concord. Britain's General Gage had a secret plan. During the wee hours of April 19th, 1775, he would send out regiments of British soldiers quartered in Boston. Their destinations were Lexington, where they would capture colonial leaders Sam Adams and John Hancock, then Concord, where they would seize gunpowder. But spies and friends of the Americans leaked word of Gage's plans. 2 lanterns hanging from Boston's North Church informed the countryside that the British were going to attack by sea. A series of horseback riders, men such as Paul Revere, William Dawes, and Dr. Samuel Prescott, galloped off to warn the countryside that the regulars, the British troops, were coming. So he's saying we're going to need to fight, and I think that he's saying, just like General Gage had a secret plan, they have a secret plan to win the war. It may look bad, but going to win. Gonna fight, gonna win. Let's go on. We're getting to the end. I know I've been talking your hind leg off. Okay, now this, let me see. Okay, so he's referring to this again, the whole Lexington, Concord, stay together Q, and he says, follow Bolton. Now, Bolton is the National Security Advisor. And he says clean, stage. Learn how to archive offline. The streets will not be safe for them. He's not saying the streets will not be safe for us. He's saying the streets will not be safe for them, Q. So, obviously this stuff is about to, the proverbial caca is about to hit the fan. So that's what he's saying. Clean, stage. Not exactly sure what he's saying stage here, but let's go take a look at who Oh, they've identified the YouTube shooter. So much stuff happening right now. A lot of stuff. Okay. Okay, Bolton could be the first national security chief to prioritize religious freedom. Among the Trump administration's early successes, two stand out particularly, and incoming National Security Advisor John Bolton has the chance to take both to the next level. First, the administration prioritized religious freedoms in its recently released national security strategy, stating the United States also remains committed to supporting and advancing religious freedom, America's first freedom. It adds, the United States will advocate on behalf of religious freedom and threatened minorities. Religious minorities continue to be victims of violence. We will place a priority on protecting these groups and will continue working with regional partners to protect minority communities from attacks and to preserve their cultural heritage. So I'm not going to go through all this because it's a long read, but that's something that you can go out and read on thehill.com. You can just Google Bolton or DuckDuckGo. I really am trying hard not to use Google. So anyway, no, okay. Of course, they want to put in their cookies. Cookies, I'm hungry. All right. Let's go on. Oh, and now I'm sitting and spinning. Oh, come on. Sorry, I'm just shutting this stuff down, hoping that it'll give me some more memory, but it's not. But it will let me move up here, so here we go. So he refers again to his own post about the Follow Bolton, that he's clean, stage, learn how to archive offline, streets will not be safe for them. Then he says, operators on site, deep, safe, Q. Now when he says on site, I would assume that he's meaning this board and that this board is now safe because there's operators on site operating the board, I guess. I'm not sure, I'm not 100% sure, but that's how I read this. You may read it differently and I'd be delighted to hear your views. But that's what I think he's saying, is that the board's safe. And this is the very last thing, and this is not provided by Q, but it's a picture, and it was taken the day of the Easter egg hunt, and it's interesting to me because here Trump is making sure that the camera sees this whistle. Now, that seems a little odd to me. So why is he doing that? And I just wonder if it's a signal to the whistleblowers. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. Could be completely innocent, but just an interesting tidbit there that maybe, possibly, that picture might mean something. So that brings us to the end of the Q post for today. I haven't gone out and checked to see if there's any new posts, but I will do that as soon as I wrap this up. And make sure if you want to be subscribed that you are subscribed because they keep unsubscribing people. So make sure you're still subscribed if you wish to be, and click the bell button to be notified. And I will see you guys probably tomorrow. Hope you have a good night, hope you rest well, and stay safe.